first webinar. Welcome to this first webinar of the Entrepreneurial Center of Excellence Partnership. This is a new partnership under the European Network of Excellence that ETF is coordinating in cooperation with the European Commission. It's a network of centers of vocational excellence, and this is very important to point out because the centers are the protagonists for change. They are protagonists for introducing innovation, and they need to be entrepreneurial to do all this. So before giving the floor to the distinguished guests we have today and to all of us, because this is meant to be an interactive webinar, I would like to just say a couple of words on the objective of this meeting and briefly how they will be covered in the agenda. So the first objective today is to peer learn about what? About the opportunities offered by the Commission, but also by communities like COPCoVEs and EntreComp community to work together and to learn from each other how to be more entrepreneurial. Another objective is to join this partnership. We still have possibility for Center of Excellence that would like to join our project to join us and to be active member in this partnership. In the last part of the meeting, after 11:30, it's just about to explain and share with you what we are doing together, what we aim to do together in the next 1 year, so that if you would like to join, we can discuss how you can join our activities. Another objective, very important, is that we network, we know each other better. So please feel free to share in the chat also the web links to your institutions, to your schools, because we can only progress together. So we can only excel together. So these webinars are there to help us to know each other, network, in order that we can cooperate also beyond the webinars. This webinar is the first one in a series of 4, covering 4 topics. I will not say the topics because this is up to Pambos to tell us in a few minutes. So we will start our meeting today giving the floor to Pambos, who will share with us why we talk about international partnerships today and what we will talk about in the next webinars. Then we will listen from the European Commission, from COPCoVEs, EntreComp, which are the opportunities they offer to all of us to work together. And then we will listen to the 4 Centers of Excellence that are already working together with us, with CARDET, with ETF, since September last year. And they will take the floor and they will share with us what are their challenges in getting more international. And they will look for advice, but also they will share with us what it proved to be successful in their experience, the good practices that they found out and that they experienced. And these 4 centers are very committed to become more entrepreneurial. They are from Morocco, from Tunisia, from Georgia, and from Moldova. Then, as I said, the very last session of the meeting, which is optional, is for centers of vocational excellence that would like to join our project. And together with Marinos, we will share with them what are the next activities, so that if they feel like joining us, they are most welcome, and we will coordinate to ensure their participation. This is a bit our journey today. So without any further delay, I will give the floor to Charalambos Brasidas from CARDET, to share with us something very interesting about an exercise we did together. Last point, please share your opinion, questions in the chat, and they will be taken as long as we go ahead with the meeting. Thank you very much again. Pambos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria Victoria. Good morning to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and to have this opportunity to have these conversations with all of you and share what we've learned so far. Let me share my screen. All right, so my name is Javier Lambos Brasidas, social version is Pambos. I wear two hats. One, I'm a professor of learning, innovation and policy at the University of Nicosia. And I'm also the executive director and leader of this project at Cartet. And we have the great honor to work with all the partners and ETF on this entrepreneurial journey. What I will share with you in the next few minutes is some of the ideas and the processes we followed for the reflection tool to identify the 4 common areas. For the purpose of this partnership, we developed a conceptual framework which is based on decades of work of many scholars and a lot of partners who work in this area. And we have to agree on a basic premise that developing into an entrepreneurial COVE, it's a journey. It's something that is ongoing. It doesn't end. So there are different, it's along the continuum, it's an ongoing process, and the contribution of all partners towards this journey is crucial. For the purpose of the exercise, the framework we developed and the tool is based on the definition that most of you are aware of, that entrepreneurship is when we act upon opportunities and that when we transform ideas into value for others. The key here is value creation. And this value can be financial, can be cultural or social. As a result of this exercise, we structured the reflection tool along the basic dimensions of the conceptual framework of an entrepreneurial code. The first dimension is organizational practices. So we had specific statements addressing issues like strategy, operational structure, financing, human resources, digital transformation, internal communication, and so on. The other dimension is teaching and learning. So aspects relating to pedagogical approaches, learner engagement, integrating the SDGs and having a strong social agenda for that, curricula and assessment. Another dimension, and for which we had specific questions, was the products and services, the design and delivery of offerings to external actors, enterprises, having the issues and designing incubators, supporting startups, and so on. And the last dimension focused on the ecosystem and how to engage with key stakeholders, and of course, the internationalization aspect. The futures of an entrepreneurial COVE are characterized by the innovation aspect, the connectedness, the importance of being networked, the action focus, there is a bias towards action, and of course, the aspects of having to do with digital and green transition and learner center. The primary focus of the reflection tool was to support COVEs to reflect on the journey of becoming more entrepreneurial. So the tool guided teams to engage in a critical reflection on their own practices and identify their strong areas, the areas they can improve, and also plan their own development strategies. The ETF team and its partners examined the reflection. We had consultations, and that's how we ended up with some of the recommendations we'll see in a bit. The reflection tool was structured along the 4 dimensions with several indicators on the left column, and then across a continuum of the foundational, developing, or mature stages of development, and we'll see in a bit about that. And then they could add comments and examples of strong entrepreneurial activity that could justify some of their reflections, but at the same time, for each dimension, they were asked to identify 2 areas of improvement, meaning which are the areas under each dimension that we feel as a center we need to improve. Building on that, we held conversations to identify barriers to improvement, and at the same time, discuss and recommend strategies for overcoming those barriers so that we can become more entrepreneurial. Here it's important to mention that there were many instances that more than one area was identified that there is need for improvement. And also, it's also important to note that the scoring is not a scientific measurement of a center's status along the continuum. It's more of a way to reflect on our practices and at the same time help us prioritize some of the needs and areas we feel are in need for more support and development. Building on that, it's also important to clarify the following. The 3 stages of development along the continuum have a great deal of overlap. There aren't clear-cut boundaries. So it's important to understand that the foundational stage is where we're at the first cycle, and yes, where we might be started doing some things, and we just getting started in the entrepreneurial journey. The developing stage, it's a stage where there is progress achieved compared to previous stages, and then the COVID demonstrates some good examples there. Of course, the mature is where we have higher levels of integration, and that it's infused systematically across all of the operations of the center, or most of them. We distributed the tool. We held several consultations. We received feedback. We gave written feedback. We planned one-on-one consultations with all centers, and then we agreed, we reached a consensus on what are the key aspects that we will focus. It's important again to note that we ask for each center to identify 2 dimensions in each of the areas we discussed earlier, so it's easier to reach consensus. The 4 common areas now that after discussions, for the first dimension, the organizational practices, we had the digital angle and the need for digital strategies that will be linked to the entrepreneurial vision and activities of the center. So not only digital transformation in its broad context, but how can we use digital tools, digital transformation and strategies to promote the entrepreneurial activities and vision of the center. For the second dimension, a key area that emerged is the need to be in more line with a strong social agenda and social entrepreneurship and with the SDGs, and how to integrate the SDGs more in the formal curricula and activities of the center. For the third dimension, regarding products and services, one need that was identified as common was the need to receive support to further develop the support for startups, the technology transfer, the business incubators. And the last but not least is the importance of the ecosystem. And there, one area that emerged as a need common to several of the centers was the need to collaborate with external key stakeholders and how to leverage the networks, both local, regional, and global, and engage in internationalization activities to better serve the vision and aims of the center, always linked within the entrepreneurial angle. So this was a quick run through of the process and the 4 areas we have identified with the great collaboration with all the COPCoVEs. I think I have 15 seconds left in my time slot. So I'll stop here and we can have later opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pambos. It was very clear, the process and how we came to identify in our partnership the 4 areas where the center believe, the COPCoVEs believe that they need to invest more to improve their performance to become more entrepreneurial. So we decided to start with the area of internationalization and partnership in the international world. So let's give now the floor to the first guest that we have today to listen what is offered by the Commission, European Commission, by COPCoVEs that can help COPCoVEs to become more international. We will have now a panel for 30 minutes, and the panel will be moderated by my dear colleague, Jose Manuel Galvin, who is the coordinator of N Network in ETF. Manuel, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Victoria Pambos, and I'm very glad to see today all partners here, many of you. I'm very thankful to see you today. And as my colleagues introduced, we are trying to give in an answer to after identification of let's say information or let's say capacity need to become more international, which is, let's say, one of the keys rationale for network of excellence. But internationalization indeed is a crucial concept shaping excellence. But internationalization is not new, and is something that also in our European tradition we are trying to develop from many years ago. But indeed, it's also very much linked to the traditions in our countries, in each country, related in particular to the role of vocational education and training in the societies and for the economy. Is an activity that is also understood by different countries, depending also on governance models, etc. And it is something that indeed in our network of excellence is a critical concept that we want to also understand better and unpackaging for the future of our activity. So for giving this answer, we have the privilege today, because I cannot say another word, of having, let's say, and identifying that João Santos from the European Commission. João will introduce himself, and also what European Commission is doing. João Santos is a senior expert, but I would say more than that, is our ideologist on Center of Vocational Excellence in Europe and beyond. So it's one of our inspiration, and we are very privileged to have him today. I have also the pleasure to introduce Íñigo Araiztegui, who is the Director of Internationalization of Técnica, which is the, let's say, the coordinator, the network organization for coordinating excellence in the Country Basque region in Spain. And also Juni Haitonen, who is the Helsinki Business College Developmental Manager, and Max Hochelsforster, sorry for my bad German, Chairman of Hans Parliament. Íñigo, Juni, and Max are also representing COPCoVEs, which has been mentioned before. They are the pioneers of the Erasmus Plus, first Erasmus Plus call, but I leave the floor to them for introducing themselves and what they are doing briefly. João, the floor is yours. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Manuel, and good morning to everyone. My name, as Manuel has already said, is João Santos. I work at the European Commission in Brussels in the unit dealing with vocational education and training policy, and we also have the responsibility for the general orientation of the Erasmus program. You know, a lot of people think that the Erasmus program is only about mobility of people, but in fact, it's much more than that. And we launched a few years ago this initiative on centers of vocational excellence. And I mean, if I were to explain to you a little bit how we got into this and how we developed the concept, it would take too much time, so I'll try to be very brief in it. But basically, what we wanted is to break a little bit with the past, because, you know, in the past, and we've been conducting vocational policy in Europe for many, many years, whenever we had a problem, for example, with quality, we'd come up with a recommendation on quality, we'd have a working group on it, and we would work on that. Whenever we had a problem with attractiveness of that, we would do something about the attractiveness, launch the European Vocational Skills Week, for example. If we had a problem on apprenticeships, we would have an isolated initiative on apprenticeships. And, you know, most of our policy work was very much in this direction. There's a problem, let's fight that problem. Now, the COVE sort of breaks with that approach, in the sense that we try to come up with a comprehensive approach to modernizing VET, in which we didn't look only at one aspect, because what we found with experience is that if you only look at one aspect and forget all the others, in the end, you won't be effective, because you can have, for example, if you're working on teaching and training and the continuous development of teachers and trainers, you can do that, but that in itself will not solve other problems that are that need a comprehensive approach. So the COVEs basically has this idea. First of all, it has the requirement that what we are doing in vocational training is aligned with the strategic objectives of the region or of the place where it is operating, because we providing skills for young people and adults to contribute to the local economies, to the local development process. So this is the first condition. The second condition is to understand that nowadays it is impossible for anyone in isolation to understand what are the future skill needs. So the vocational centers cannot by themselves understand all the dynamics that are happening in the economy and society. So we have to understand that in order to provide a good service in terms of providing the young people with the skills they need, and adults also with the skills they need for upskilling and reskilling, we have to work in partnerships. We have to work with local development agencies. We have to work with local public employment services. We have to work with companies, with research centers, and even universities. So if we really want to be up to date in what is skills provision, we have to understand it's not enough for the vocational centers to work in isolation. And the third element we have is that we have to see the work of vocational training as being much more than simply providing a qualification. So it's not a matter of receiving every year a certain number of students going through a process of 2 or 3 years of training, and then they get a qualification. That is important, of course, but in itself, it is not enough to prepare the young people or even the adults for upskilling and reskilling. So we have to go beyond it. And the COVEs has this objective of really looking at, you know, expanding the partnerships, ensuring that what we are providing is what is needed in terms of strategic development for the region, and expanding the offer of things that we provide for the learners. Having said that, then it has an additional element that relates to what Maria Victoria and Manuel were talking about, is this dimension of collaboration beyond the region where we are. So, and I usually use this slogan, which is not mine, it comes from a private company, but in any case, of think global and act local. And what I mean by this, think global in the sense of interact with others. So put vocational centers from Morocco, from Moldova, working with other vocational centers from Canada, from Germany, from Denmark, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We share with each other. We, you know, things that are working well in Morocco can be transferred to what we are doing in Portugal or Italy, and vice versa. So it's this idea that we don't have to work by ourselves. We can learn from the others, but don't forget that at the end of the day, what we have to do is, resulting from all this collaboration, is make sure that at the local level we are delivering what is needed to develop the skills of the young and the adults. So learn, and that's why think global, act local. In the end, it is at the local level that we make change. So I will leave it there, Manuel, because we'll have more time to interact, and the other colleagues also want to talk.
Thank you, Joao. I will pass the floor now to Íñigo briefly to introduce Technica himself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Manuel, and good morning, everyone. And thanks a lot for inviting me to this exciting session. So yeah, as Manuel said in the beginning, I'm Íñigo Araiztegi. I'm the director of the International Department of Technica. Technica is an applied research and innovation center of the Basque government. So we are in the northeast part of Spain, close to the French border, and we work with all the VET centers of the Basque Country. And we've been involved in this initiative of Centers of Vocational Excellence from the very beginning. We were leading one of the first pilot projects, the call from 2018, and yeah, it just finished a couple of months ago. And now we will be leading a new one for the next 4 years. And both of these scopes have been dealing with advanced manufacturing. So if any of you is interested in finding out more or in knowing more about advanced manufacturing scope, just get in touch with me. And apart from that, as Manuel said, we've been involved also from the very beginning, from the very invention, I'd say, of the community of practices of Centers of Vocational Excellence. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Inigo. Pass the floor now to Joni and then Max to also introduce themselves also in the context of the COPCoVEs group. Thank you. Max, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. And by the way, Manuel, your German is very good. You pronounce my name perfectly. So my name is Max Hogeforster. I represent the Hansa Parliament, and I'm very happy to be here today. And I'm kind of a stranger maybe because I represent a business organization. The Hansa Parliament is an organization of chambers of commerce, chambers of crafts that was founded in 1994. And since 2010, we also have 24 universities, colleges, in particular universities of applied science as members. And our common goal is to promote the small and medium-sized enterprises in the Baltic Sea region, so Northeast Europe. And the biggest topic for the companies at the moment on the last, let's say, 5-6 years is the lack of skilled workforce, and then this mismatch of skills. We see a high level of unemployment in academics and not enough vocational trained people. So that's why we started our COVE and to fight this mismatch. Also, in our COVE is called 3LOE. I will put the link in the chat if you're interested to have a look at it. And this COVE focuses on the green economy. So in our COVE project, we try to educate people in the vocational education for the green economy. And of course, the entrepreneurial activity is very important for us as a business organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas. Joni, floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice to be here as well, and thanks for being interested in this COVE work. Well, my name is Jouni Hytönen, and I work as a development manager in Helsinki Business College, and I'm also the project manager of a DHUB project. Well, a few words about Helsinki Business College. It's a secondary education bed provider. We are 141 years old since 1881, a bit older organization already, and also Aalto University in Finland is a spin-off from our basic organization since 1881. We have around 3,000 students, from which 1,500 are youngsters, and then the other 1,500 adult students. We are the biggest VET provider in Finland on 2 fields, business management and information and media technology. In addition to this trainings, we are active service provider for SMEs and also have a big role in development activities for internal development, for development of SMEs, and for tackling social challenges like green and digital transition and diversity issues. Well, we coordinate one of these COVE projects, namely DHUB. It stands for Digital Innovation Hub for Cloud-Based Services. And we are finalizing our outcomes from this project, and we will finish by the end of April. So all the outcomes are available in that stage. Well, it was interesting to hear the basic introductions you had already, and these 3 common areas which were mentioned dealing with entrepreneurship are very well covered within our COVE project of DHUB. I mean, the organizational practices, how how they say, DHub project has affected into Helsinki Business College and into our partners as well in the project, how it has an effect to teaching and learning processes in the college, and how we have built the ecosystem, the local one, the national one, and the European one through our partnerships in COVE projects. And finally, we have succeeded to reach some products and services from the DHub project itself, and we will release a kind of online platform to serve all Europe or even globally in the issues of cloud technology. So maybe that's basics to start with today, and thanks. I leave floor to the moderator.
Thank you, Juni. Thank you very much, colleagues. If I tell you the truth, because we are always in the, let's say, contest of co-creation, we didn't want to close too much question for you. This is a, let's say, panel on which also we call for our colleagues from Moldova, Tunisia, Georgia, and Morocco to prepare questions, because you have today the opportunity here. I think you already listen our colleagues, so the excellent profiles they have, and you know, to peer with you today. And I call you for preparing already many questions. So I would like this session would be longer, but we have also limited time. Anyway, I'm going to ask a question to Joao straight away, that we would like also, you know, to put on you, because also our colleagues, our centers are very much interested on what is Erasmus Plus offering in practical terms for to the COVEs of any network, and how Erasmus Plus is helping COVEs to become more entrepreneurial. Please, Joao. Thank you.
Fine. So, you know, the initiative on the Centers of Vocational Excellence, remember I told you that the whole idea is about, you know, having international, transnational collaborative platforms. So we are going beyond Europe. So we are recognizing that although in Europe and, you know, many people throughout the world know that we have quite a developed vocational system, even if it is very different in many countries, we still believe that there's merit in collaborating with others. So we believe that we have a lot to learn from Morocco, Moldova, everywhere, because there's always good experiences out there that can benefit what we are doing in Europe. And we believe that what we are doing in Europe can also benefit those countries. So that's why we opened in Erasmus Plus the COVE initiative to partners from any country in the world. To the extent that you are interested in developing this concept we've come up on vocational excellence, and to the extent you can also contribute. So we are not doing development policy over here. We are genuinely trying to learn from each other. If you have something that you can contribute, if you have an idea of how you want to develop your vocational system, we are willing to cooperate with you. So basically in Erasmus Plus, every year we launch a call. Currently there's a call open, and we are waiting for applications until the 7th of September. I've already put some links on the chat where you can go and find more details. But basically, we welcome any partners from any part of the world. And although this particular webinar is on entrepreneurship, I should say that we also look at other activities. Entrepreneurship is not the sole objective. It is part of a series of activities that we want to support. But of course, it is one very important one, because if you go and look at the list of activities that we say we want to support with the COVE initiative, you will see entrepreneurship is you know, in many of the activities, not only in terms of developing content, so I'm talking about curricula, which has to do with it, but also integrating entrepreneurship and key competences in general in the VET curricula. So if you want to work on those aspects, we are supporting it through the Centers of Vocational Excellence. These Centers of Vocational Excellence, just to summarize very quickly so that you know how the system works. So we have these calls. Each project has the requirement of having at least 4 countries involved. So this is the kind of European dimension and the international dimension, that each project needs participants or partners from at least 4 countries. As I said, can be from Europe or outside Europe. And then we have another requirement, is that in each of these 4 countries, you have to have at least 1 vocational center and at least 1 company. What we see in the applications is that, in fact, we have much more than this. We have some applications where you see 65 partners in one single project, but these are the minimum requirements: at least 4 countries, at least 2 partners from each country, so 8 partners the minimum, and in each country a vet center and a company, because that's the whole idea, that we want to expand beyond the vocational system and look at how we can cooperate with companies. This is in general how it works. The projects we fund are grants, so it's not loans or whatever, it's really money that we give to develop the projects, and it can go up to 4 million euros for project duration of 4 years. So this is basically how we're doing it. Then if you go and look at those links, because we don't have the time here to go into detail, you will see that we've structured the kind of activities that can be supported in 3 big blocks. One which we call teaching and learning. So all the things that have to do with innovative curricula, for example, including apprenticeships. Another, entrepreneurship. The other set of activities we've clustered under cooperation and partnerships. And here, for example, we also include things like creating incubators, seeing how we can support the young people, not only providing them with entrepreneurial skills, but also if they want to create their own job, to do so. So we create, not necessarily developing the incubators in the vocational school, but making sure that sometimes there are already incubators in the region, that you have strong relationship with them, that you can work together. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to concentrate all the activities in just one vocational center. What we require is that the vocational center looks at all the opportunities in the region where they are and explores, if there's already an incubator there, how can I make sure that my learners can profit from this incubator? So this is the kind of approach we want to support. So 8 partners, 4 countries minimum, 4-year duration of the project, and 4 million euros we support for it. I will put more links on the chat if you want to go and have a look, even on how to find partners to apply for Erasmus Plus funding.
Thank you, Joao. Very concrete tips. And also because we have here potential partners, which are today with us in COPCoVEs colleagues, you know, Juni, Max, Inigo. Max, Juni, Max, COPCoVEs. Can you briefly introduce to colleagues what it is and how, for example, can we work more together with EntreComp and with our colleagues here today from the different countries? And also, what are you doing in the entrepreneurial dimension of Center of Vocational Excellence? What are your discussions, your working dynamics, your developments in this topic? Max, Juni, Max, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Well, let's start. Well, the COP is formulated by the project managers of each COPCoVEs. So those are the members, and we gather together from time to time. Well, for this year, usually once in a month, and we have a specific topic there in each meeting, and 1 or 2 of us are preparing the topics to the meetings, and afterwards this can be also taken a look at later through our online folders. So it's a kind of networking and sharing the experiences from each COPCoVEs project, and through this specific topic we deepen the thinking of each topic. So that's maybe the basics what we are doing. And when new COPCoVEs projects have been funded, those new ones will be joining the COP concept. And maybe Max, you can say something more.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Juni. Yes, also maybe from our COVE point of view, like João said, first we set up the 7 COVEs. We have 7 countries involved. So it's in our case, Spain, Italy, Germany, Austria, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania. And from our perspective as a business support organization, it's very important that the vocational training centers, the universities and business support organizations work together in this project to really educate people that fit the labor market. And the first step, what we did in our first work page actually was that each COVE sets up a business plan and also a detailed plan how the center management runs and how they plan to make a living after the funding ends, so in 3 years' time. And so that is put on a sustainable basis. So each COVE has an entrepreneurial aspect by itself to have a running organization later on. And these are all connected then in the central international COVE that is run by the lead partner. That is also an entrepreneurial aspect. So we really try to look a lot to make it sustainable from an economic point of view. That's very important. And actually each COVE also has an education that is focusing on entrepreneurship in the green economy. So this entrepreneurship factor is very important to us.
Thank you. I'm going to call for questions from our partners from Moldova, Tunis, Georgia, Morocco. Please, do you have any question to put to our colleagues? Tricky one, indeed. We also accept tricky questions. Najib.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much, Manuel. It's a real honor to be here with all your distinguished guests. Maybe I have a weakness for João Santos because I follow everything he writes on LinkedIn, all the updates. My question is indeed to João Santos. If we consider entrepreneurship as a transversal skill, which means that it is not a skill which is linked to being an engineer or doctor or a technician or whatever, it's let's say a soft skill or a transversal skill, what would be the difference in educating youth for entrepreneurship in higher education and vocational education? This is I hope my question is clear.
Who takes the question?
I can take it, Manuel, but do you want to collect more questions or we just answer one by one?
I would like to collect more, but I don't know if our colleagues are so shy today.
Okay, but maybe I can start answering this question, then my colleagues can add to it. Najib, thank you very much for your question and for the interactions in LinkedIn. Well, in fact, you are right. Entrepreneurship, well, it has 2 dimensions. You can have subjects related to entrepreneurship, attitudes and skills, but it is essentially, as you rightly said, a transversal skill. So it's not that you take a qualification as an entrepreneur. It's something that you do as, just like communication skills, just like, other transversal skills that help you throughout life. And it has, of course, various dimensions. One of them is creating the kind of skills and attitudes and knowledge in order to create your own enterprise. But I think the most important element of entrepreneurship is, in fact, and although quite often it is confused, entrepreneurship is assumed that this means creating your own company. But in fact, it is much more than that, because it has to do with, the critical thinking, the way we preparing a young person to go to a factory or to an office, and they look at a problem and they themselves, without the need for anyone telling them things, because they have critical thinking, because they are trying to improve in every detail, the work they are doing, that they have this kind of attitude to look towards the problem and solve it. So it's not only entrepreneurship, and I mean, you all know that, but I think it's important to emphasize entrepreneurship is not only about creating a company. Of course, that is also one of the objectives, but it really has to do with life attitudes. And I think if you want to provide people with those kind of skills and attitudes, it has to really be a kind of a policy within the vocational system. when we mentioned before, when we had the introduction of organizational practices, teaching and learning, and creating the ecosystem. So I really think it has to be something that is embedded in the way the vocational system works, that teachers and the teachers and trainers that are providing the young people and even the adults with those skills understand it is something that should be fostered in everyday learning, in everyday teaching, that this is something that we should provoke people to have this kind of inquisitive mind, because entrepreneurship has a lot to do with that. It's critical thinking, is trying to see where is their opportunity. It has to do with curiosity as well. You know, quite often curiosity is the sort of the mother of innovation, in the sense you are trying to discover things that are out there, trying to you know, see where there are opportunities and act on those opportunities. And this all has to do with entrepreneurship. So it's not a subject in itself, it's the way you approach a mathematical problem, for example. How do you have a maths problem, you know, the kind of thinking process that makes you look at it, and how can this then be applied to other parts of your life? It's all this kind of approach that has to be installed in a school. And it requires, it's not big, of course, sometimes you find teachers and trainers that have this in mind and do it, but that's not enough, because they will only have an impact in the learners that they are teaching. But you've really got to have this as an attitude in the organization, the VET organization, that entrepreneurial skills and attitudes are fostered at all levels. And I think one of the main elements is that you cannot expect a vocational system or vocational training center to be entrepreneurial if the center itself is not entrepreneurial. So if the center itself doesn't look at how can I become a vocational center that fosters entrepreneurship, so what do I have to do? So it's not only a matter of the learner having entrepreneurship skills and attitudes. If the organization doesn't have it out itself, it will be difficult that the learner will get it, because it has to do with the way you organize yourself. And I'm talking about, you know, really the organization of the vocational system, so that it develops this kind of ecosystem where people think that entrepreneurial skills and attitude is not something that you learn as a sort of you know, an additional element. It's part of the way of doing things. And if we aspire to have entrepreneurial people coming out of the system, this is the kind of culture that you have to install within the organization itself, because then this is passed over to the learners, because they are sort of embedded in everything they do in the organization. And so, Najib, we could go on for hours. I hope that at least I touched a little bit of what could be the answer to your question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joao. I don't see hands up, but I see one question in the chat. But allow me to ask one direct question to Íñigo, because we have to profit. He is here today representing the country Basque, one of our successful examples in the European Union. Please, Íñigo, can you tell us, let's say, what are the main ingredients of the country Basque addressing entrepreneurship dimension and competences and, you know, centers in your network, in your region?
Dear Manuel, I don't want to interrupt anyone here, but I wanted to say just a few words. First of all, Please. It's an honor to be here, but we are taking the first steps, and our experience is very important. Your experience is very important to us. And all this information, which is for just raising awareness, and I'm sure it will help to strengthen our college and entrepreneurial activities. And I wanted to say thank you. And all these web pages, what you sent to us, I'm taking a look and wanted to say just thank you for your great experience and the knowledge what you are sharing with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Levan. Thank you very much. Well, I made a direct question to Íñigo. I see also Vicente has hands up. Please go ahead, Mr. Bakari. Or some of you, whatever you organize. The team, please. Vicente team, please. Good morning. Bonjour.
Bonjour, good morning, everybody. We have a question that how we can build partnerships that promotes the sustainable development goals in favor of entrepreneurship?
I think Inigo or Joao, I would help us also on answering this question.
Inigo, do you want to have a try? Because then I can answer if you want.
Yeah, so I have two questions now. So I don't know which one should I answer first. Is maybe I start with Manuel's question, and then I move to Mr. Bakari's question. So yeah, the first one, Manuel's question was a question of how we are doing it here at regional level. So we had a kind of pathway with this entrepreneurship. We started with a program for company creation at vet centers, and then we moved to a program to create, in parallel with that, entrepreneurial culture, entrepreneurial mindsets among students, and then we moved to new methodologies. So I will try to take the topic from there. So and try to give it an international perspective to make it relevant for everyone. So I'd say that entrepreneurship is relevant for COPs for two main reasons. The first one is that it's a competence for everyone, has been said by some of the speakers today, but it's in the end helping young people to be more creative, to be more self-confident, and to be able to undertake things and to create value. So it should not be confused with business creation or with economic studies. So it's more the ability to turn ideas into action, and it covers creativity, innovation, risk-taking, communication, networking, etc. So it's something that supports everyone in day-to-day life at home and in society. And the second reason is that entrepreneurship is one of the topics covered by the COPE initiative, as Joao has mentioned, and it's also a European priority. So in the end, we, the Centers of Vocational Excellence, should foster entrepreneurship, and we should try to work with entrepreneurial competence of our students and to make them, in the end, better persons for the world. So, but that's one thing, entrepreneurship is important, but then the next point is, but how do you teach it? How do you make your students more entrepreneurial? And I think that there are at least a couple of issues that we should take into account in this regard. The first one is that it's very important, or at least this is our experience, to focus on the personality of young people. So it's a type of education that should foster creativity, initiative, risk-taking, and other general skills that are in the end the foundation for entrepreneurship. And the second one is that it's important to ensure that entrepreneurial attitudes are nurtured through the entire vet system. So it's not an isolated topic or something, but something that is embedded in the whole vet course. So if you take into account these two issues, then I'd say that the most effective way to teach entrepreneurship is to have students participate in practical projects, call it collaborative learning, project-based learning, problem-based learning, however you want to call it, but that's our experience. And I'd say also that it's true that many initiatives on entrepreneurship education are underway at different levels across the whole Europe. But even if entrepreneurship is included in the national curricula in some countries, and in most cases, there's a perception that the situation is not yet satisfactory. And there's still a gap to be filled. So this may be related to probably, at least this was our experience, ineffective teaching methods, but you can also have a problem with not fully competent teachers to teach this kind of stuff, or also lack of interdisciplinarity in a vet course. And I think, and this is my personal belief, so take or leave, but I think that an international approach to this field may help, because one, we can ensure more coordination between national and regional policies and different policies from different countries. Two, we can exchange best practices and experiences and things that work and things that don't work. Three, we can reach a better understanding of the subject, and four, we can also help others. So in summary, I'd like to say three things and one conclusion. The first thing is, if you want to teach entrepreneurship, you need to take into account the personality of young people. The second one is that you need to distinguish between the general competences, creativity, initiative, risk-taking. This is the important ones, and not specifically the ones needed to start up a business. And the third one is that it's important to ensure that entrepreneurial attitudes are embedded into the whole curricula, into the whole bed cycle, and not just an isolated course or something like that. And yeah, and from these three ideas, at least I conclude that the most effective way to teach entrepreneurship is to have students participate in practical projects, in project-based learning, however you want to call it. But in the end, it's something problem-driven, experience-oriented, that it's essential to create this kind of mindset. So this will be my answer to the first question. To
I'm sorry.
question.
I'm sorry. We are 10 minutes late already with the panel. It's very unpleasant to be the chair when you have to take people back to time management. But we have many people already prepared as speakers, and we need to give them also the floor. I'm sorry, but we can come back. And please, Inigo, if you can share in the chat the links to the experience of the Basque countries, which is indeed very, very useful, very, very rich. And thank you also to Yuni and Max and Joao. You have already shared the links. I'm sorry, I will not take questions at this stage now, because we need to follow also a bit our agenda, and give the floor to the 4 COPCoVEs that already started working to be more entrepreneurial. And I will start by giving the floor, as per agenda, to Mrs. Angela Botezzatu. Thank you very much, Jose Manuel. Thank you to all panelists. It was very rich. In fact, we went beyond, but it was very useful. And maybe we can continue later, but let's also listen to the 4 COPCoVEs, because they prepared their presentation and they have questions for us all. So Angela Botezzatu from the Center of Excellence in Economy and Finance in the Republic of Moldova. Angela, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Dear colleagues, honorable assistants, I propose to your attention the challenges and good practices of public institutions, Center of Excellence in Economy and Finance. The biggest challenges are the first, language barriers, the difference between the areas of interest of the institutions. Not long ago, there was no platform what would help us to increase the international visibility of vocational institutions such as Erasmus Plus or eTwinning. Moldova isn't a member of the European Union community and does not have access to some international projects and COVID-19 pandemic situation. Talking about our good practices, there are educational projects carried out with institutions from Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, such as under the same umbrella, online education without borders, ECONET, empowering young people connecting Europe. Participation in international fairs and trainings fields, Austria, Czech Republic, Romania. School fair companies, organized by Junior Achievement, participation in the Innovation Camp Europe, the Entrepreneurial School Awards by Junior Achievement Europe 2020, and participation in the international competition IT or Quantic. Finally, I would like to mention that we don't have an official strategy regarding the initiation of international collaboration programs, but our actions are focused on some of main ideas. The strategic objectives set out in the Strategic Development Plan 2021 to 2026 managerial operational program for 2021 to 2022, internal procedure for collaboration with educational partners, and public institution. Our institution is a member of Entrepreneurial COPCoVEs network. Thank you.
Wow, Angela, you have been very quick, but there are still a few minutes to be dedicated to your center. So maybe
I know.
you are always very pragmatic and very synthetic. Angela, shall we go back to the first slide, maybe, and see what are the challenges, and maybe see if our panelists or people around the table today have some suggestions for Angela, because one of the objectives of this partnership is to help each other. Receiving tips, receiving recommendations, sharing good practices. So the floor is, we have still 3 minutes or something to dedicate to Moldova, our colleagues in Moldova, and see if any one of you would like to give us a
sorry, I don't want to interrupt Maria Vitoria, but
yes.
Let me say one thing. I'm ready to collaborate with Moldovan College. It's pleased to collaborate.
Oh, that's very good. You have an idea already, Levan, to suggest?
I want to discuss with them actually privately, because I took some issues here, like language barriers, so we can help in that, and they can help us in a different ways, so we can collaborate, hopefully.
That's very good. That's very good and very practical. I'm also asking other colleagues from Europe or from other countries if they have any suggestion or anything they want to share with Angela and her colleagues to face the challenges. Or maybe...
I would have one question. Hello, I am from Georgia. I'm Nino, the director of one of colleges. And I have a question. If you have any experience in Moldova colleges to be entrepreneurial, so how to deal with the idea of entrepreneurial colleges? Do you have any experience with it? Because we in Georgia, we do not have any experience of entrepreneurial colleges yet. So it would be nice if you share some of your experience to us.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you very much. Angela, would you like to take this question? Maybe also share the good practice slide that you just went through, because here there are some practical ideas already.
If you let me to talk my student, and she will speak about our.
I can try and translate.
Okay.
Her thoughts.
In our institution, we don't have a big entrepreneurial experience, because our institution formează la programe. Can I respond later?
Okay.
Okay, we can talk privately about this issue, as Levan said, if we have some language barriers, because we can speak Russian also as a post-Soviet country. So all of us, we are able to speak Russian too. So we can.
I understand Russian. I understand Russian. I can speak in Russian.
Yes, okay. Yes, and that's why I'm saying that we can communicate and we can send you the questions we have, and if we make some partnership for future, we can apply for example, Erasmus Plus together as a countries. technologies. So let's communicate privately, as Levan said. Okay.
Great. So yeah, absolutely. That's one of the objectives of the partnership. So we move now to Tunisia and give the floor to Mr. Murad Bakari, the Director of Center for Apprenticeship in Bizerte, Northern Tunisia. The floor is yours, please. We don't hear you, Murad.
Okay. I am here, Maria. I am Anis.
Anis, good morning. You are making the presentation. Very good.
Yes, I am a business development manager at the center. I will. I prepared the presentation with my colleague Murad and my colleague another Murad Bakari. So we have some biggest challenge for international network and collaboration that we must overcome. The next, please. So our challenges are participation are still approved by the Tunisian Agency for Vocational Training. We have a lack of autonomy, a lack of logistics, a lack of organization at the center compared to international approaches in terms of autonomy and responsibility here in terms of our center. We have a lack of staff motivation. We have a volunteer-based work. And we have another biggest challenge is involvement challenges. Our team is reduced. The next, please. Through our international experience, we have been positively impacted. We have a national and international outreach and the visibility of the center, the engagement of the ecosystem and the stakeholders in the self-assessment of the center through our partnership with the ETF and our assessment tools, development of skills and experience of the center's team members, international collaboration. The center has become a reference in relation to other centers under the supervision of the Tunisian Agency of Vocational Training and the Ministry of Employment through our integration into the network of centers of excellence and the pre-labeling of the entrepreneurial center, and in the promotion of the sustainable development goals in that. Also, the center is requested by our Tunisian agency and our ministry for the sharing of international good practices with other centers in Tunisia. CFA Bizerte has a good experience in international collaboration for more than 10 years and has a good international reputation. Please, the next. How to start an international collaboration? We have two strategies, official and unofficial strategy. Our official strategy, the center always participates with the supervisory authority, with Tunisian agency and the ministry in international collaboration through calls for applications, and we prepare our proposal with in collaboration with partner, such as we have some program. We participate in some program and project in international collaboration. We have skills for employability project between 2011 and 2040 with two British partners in London and Birmingham, with funded by British Council. And now we have a regional initiative program for sustainable development funded by European training and professional integration support program with French Agency for Development. And we have another project with Swiss Contact, a professional integration program funded by Swiss Contact. And now we are with ETF in the network of excellence COPCoVEs and label of entrepreneurial center with ETF. And now we have a new opportunity in Erasmus+. The next, please. Our unofficial strategy through past and current partnership, always we try to develop new links, new collaboration with our partners, also through relationships and efforts of center team members. And through a personal opportunity, now we have a new opportunity in Algeria with Sustainable Development Goals Council in Algeria, and maybe we try to develop a new project with them in Algeria and in Tunisia, and this unofficial strategy based in our personal opportunities. The next, please. About European Commission COPCoVEs panel, we need to explain more about this COPCoVEs best practices community and how we can join the COPCoVEs panel and seize this opportunity. And thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Anis, and the whole team in BIZERT. I know you work as a team, which
Yes,
is already
yes,
needed to be entrepreneurial. So one question to the panel that we may take at the end is how the CFA BIZERT can join the COPCoVEs. What are the possibilities and how this can be done? We keep this question to the end of this session, and Yuni and Max, if you can start thinking what could be the answer to this question, please. We move now to Morocco. Thank you very much, BIZERT. We move to
Thank you, Maya. Thank you.
Thank you. We move now to Mr. Najib Hamouti from the School of Textile and in Morocco. The floor is yours, Najib, please.
Good morning, really good morning, everyone, because I've taken the floor before this time. It's a pleasure for me to answer some of the questions which are raised in this conversation. I will just follow the path of my colleagues from Moldova and Tunisia. Regarding the challenges that we face in terms of international collaboration, we have found it, I will make maybe confidence here, but we found it really difficult to define a strategy and asking those basic questions, those big questions. Why should we internationalize? How should we do it? With whom, etc. And it was like finding it also difficult to define a business case for this internationalization. We are not going. We were saying we are not going to do internationalization just because people are doing it somewhere else. So we had to find a strategy. Of course, now, as I'm going to see it later, we have maybe overcome this difficulty, but this was an early stage challenge. We also found it difficult at the beginning to network with potential partners. There was a time when we didn't have, all these digital tools which are available now. And also, sometimes you find it because we were not very strong in external marketing or external communication. We were not able to sell ourselves to the external world. So it was just like writing a random email, structured email, but randomly to people that you have met before, and who are not, if you like, morally maybe obliged to answer you. So we started learning, of course, lessons from our failures. What you have also as a challenge, but this one is still a question of in the current conversation. We haven't overcome it yet, which is the issue of regulations. Regulations, because we work under the authority of the Ministry of Industry and the Ministry of Vocational Education. And ministries, they have rules and like rules of conduct, accreditations, etc. So this question of regulation comes in the conversation, especially when we are talking about mobility of students overseas. We don't have the same system of grading, and we either grading individual exams or grading a whole semester, evaluation of a whole semester. We don't find the same like names of courses here that we find in Europe, etc. So this question of harmonization, lack of harmonization between what is being done in a country in North Africa, which is Morocco, and what is being done in other places in Europe, United States, North America, or Asia. So we still face this challenge of regulations. This is something that we still face, and we hope that we are provided with a kind of flexibility from policymakers to ease this flow between the two sides of the oceans and of the Mediterranean Sea, so that our students can go easily have a semester or even 2 semesters abroad and come back with recognized grades, etc. The fourth challenge that I have thought about was the lack of know-how. Here I am pointing to something very specific, which is those collaborative projects, which can generate, which can generate operations, international operations into the center. This technical know-how of conceiving and drafting collaborative projects. We don't have this know-how, and I think, generally speaking, in similar countries like ours, you don't find many people who are trained, etc., with this know-how of setting up projects, collaborative projects, such as the case now. We are in the process of submitting proposals for Erasmus plus vocational education. So we kind of struggle, when we are doing all this technical stuff of project management, filling those forms, etc. But we do our best. But we are doing our best. But we hope, we can overcome this so that we can, because it's really a huge opportunity for us to be involved in consortia, many institutions doing nice things for young people around the globe. Next slide, please.
Sorry, Najib, you are already over time. So if you can go a bit quicker now, thank you.
Yes, sorry, I'm very talkative, I know. Yes, quickly, our success stories. Let's say we managed successfully the first international collaboration as early as 2003, and then we went to sign up 3 dual degree partnership with French schools. We were also involved in skills for employability program of the British Council, and as good practices, and we also joined the Erasmus Plus program in 2018. As good practices, I would like to advise appointing the right person, set achievable goals, not to be too much ambitious, and delimit your geographical scope, and work in a timely way. International partners would like to work with somebody who is very responsive. Thank you very much, Maria.
Thank you, and thank you again. I'm sorry to, I need to keep a bit the time because
you're doing your job, Maria.
Sorry, yeah. So yeah, now we move to Georgia. Last but not least, we would like to hear from Nina, who is director of the Vocational College and the fourth COVE that is in our partnership. Please, Nina, what are your challenges and your good practices? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello once more to my colleagues. It's our pleasure to be the part of this network, and thank you for involving our colleague in this platform. So let me speak about our challenges, at first I want to speak about our college, which is just newly renovated and newly equipped. Our college is really popular in our region. It's just one college in the whole region of COPCoVEs in Georgia. But we have, as I mentioned in my question to my Moldovan colleague, we have very dark past of Soviet Union, and it was kind of stereotype in that time, that dark time, that professional colleges and vocational colleges were just the way of punishment for young people. And we face the biggest challenge. What we face now is to ruin this stereotype and make our college more popular, more attractive, and to attract more young people here. My college is providing more technical professions like building, welding, plumbing, electricity technicians, as well as cooking and tailoring. And we have very well equipped modern fab lab, which is very popular within young people. And the biggest challenge what we face during our effort for international networking is the language barrier within teachers, our teachers, and the competencies of teachers. Because you know that technically business is growing and increasing the opportunities, and all modern equipments are very very new for our teachers who are teaching, for example, during 30-40 years in colleges, and this is very big challenge for all colleges in Georgia to increase the competencies of teachers. So we will need the help to make more trainings for teachers and make more popular our college within young people. And we do our best to make popular. We create our TikTok account, Facebook and Instagram, and to make popular these professions. And the business market has a very big need of professions such we provide. But we still need to attract young people, to ensure them to come to college and study these professions that we are providing. And the government is putting very great resources in this to make more popular vocational education. So if we talk about successful stories, unfortunately, we don't have yet any successful stories of our international networking. And that's why I am very happy to be the part of this platform. And we are very eager to be involved in Erasmus Plus and to motivate our students in this way to study English at first, to study European languages, and then be involved in this process and be the part of Erasmus Plus, because in higher education, this program, Erasmus Plus program, is very popular, and the students who go to Europe and the teachers who are involved in this process, they have high salaries. They come to Georgia, beg these students, and they find jobs. So this is very good opportunity for educational education. How to start an international collaboration, if you ask me. Yes, this is the way how we can start it, to meet each other, to make more friendship, more connections with our colleagues from Europe, for countries like Georgia, because I think we have many things to say, to share to each other. We have maybe some same problems, and we have many things to learn from our European colleagues, because the idea of entrepreneurial colleges is very new in Georgia, and none of the colleges of Georgia do this. We had very good changes in our legislation, and government is very supportive for colleges, for vocational education, and they try to teach us how to start this way, to go more entrepreneurial, how to give services, how to produce things and sell, how to generate income. On the local level, the government and Ministry of Education and the Skills Agency, which is very newly created in Georgia, they are very helpful for colleges. But on the international level, this platform and all platforms like that is very important for us to study, to learn how to do this and what practices are in Europe. So I think that this is all what I wanted to say. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. Thank you, the four Center of Vocational Excellence that are working together and to become more entrepreneurial. Thank you for having shared with a lot of honesty what are your challenges, a lot of transparency, issues of languages, issues of capacity, issues of autonomy, issues of frustrations, because it's not so
yes, because if we don't speak about, if we don't speak honestly, we can't solve our problems. So
okay, but yeah, that's true. So in a very honest way, I will now apologize with Mr. Azizaga, Mr. Betayeb, and Mr. Talap. I saw you ask for the floor, but as we are 20 minutes late, I would suggest that we take our little coffee break, virtual only, I'm afraid. We take 5 minutes to break, and then we continue. I will give the floor to the three people who asked for the floor, and then we will hear from EntreComp community. Thank you very much for now. See you in 5 minutes at 11:35. Thank you. Hello, welcome back. I hope you had a nice break. So as I said, I would like to give quickly the floor to the three people who asked to intervene. And if I'm not wrong in order, it was Mr. Azizaga. Are you with us? I'm sorry for the pronunciation. If not, I also had Mr. Mohamed Betayeb who asked for the floor. I don't know, Mohamed, bonjour.
Yeah, good morning. Bonjour,
Hi,
Maria. Good morning.
You wanted
yes,
to...
I asked the floor. I would like to give a short comment. Firstly, I would like to thank the 4 Training Center for their presentation. And I would like to say that COPCoVEs, which is a Tunisian center, is also an active member of the Tunisian National Network of Entrepreneurial Vet Centers. This network was established in 2021, the innovation this year will be with a focus on internationalization, with a special orientation on Africa. I speak under the control of Simorad Bakeri, the director of the center, and I say maybe we will work with the Nigerian delegation from Niger, even it will be une première in this network. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohamed, for taking the floor. Mr. Betayeb is working at the Ministry of Employment and Vocational Education and Training in Tunisia. And I would like to take just 1 minute to say that Tunisia is at the forefront in the promotion of entrepreneurship as a key competence. There is a work over 7 years that has been undertaken in cooperation with ETF. And we worked on governance issues, we worked on pedagogical issues, and all the deliverables of this experience are available on ETF website. We will share now in the chat the link to the Tunisia experience. That was also inspiring for our partnership. Thank you, Loretta, for sharing it. And thank you, Loretta is our chat moderator and colleague in the team. The other very important thing that Mohamed has just shared is that in Tunisia, they defined a label. A label, what is an entrepreneurial vet center? And they established a network of entrepreneurial centers of vocational education in Tunisia. So this experience could also be shared with those of you who are interested. I will give now the floor to Mr. Talab, who asked for it. Thank you, Mr. Talab, for your comment. And please introduce yourself before.
Thank you. First of all, sorry, my English. I am Oscar from Kazakhstan. I represent non-commercial joint stock company Talab. We are working under Ministry of Education and Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And now we, last few years, realized the project Jas Maman. In English, it's mean young professionals. We modernized approximately 200 colleges, vocational schools. We spent approximately $1 million for each colleges. And now we modernized internet and how it's said, some technical support for these colleges. And for us, it's a big honor to be participated in this network of vocational centers of professional excellence. And now in these colleges, we are creating a Center for Professional Excellence. In our country, it's called Center of Competences. But we have some issue. First issue, it's certification from
Sorry,
industry.
Mr. Talap, sorry.
Mhm.
I'm afraid in this very moment is a bit difficult to start a discussion on your issues. If you can please put the link of your initiative in the chat. If you can stay with us in the last session of this meeting, okay? Then we can go more in the details, not in this
About
moment.
digitalization. So now
But
we have
also at the end, I'm
internet.
sorry, we cannot now take this discussion in this moment. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But if you can stay at the end of this meeting, we have the last session is for this kind of things.
Yes,
I'm
sorry.
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 But please share with us your link, and thank you very much that you shared your experience with us. The last speaker for now would be Uni. Would you like to take the question of our COPCoVEs? Can they join COPCoVE and how? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. And I noticed that I can't raise the hand for some reason in my application. Okay, so I will take this issue to the next COP meeting and ask from the others as well how we can collaborate. But of course, when we have here also Jose Manuel here from ETF, so through that way we collaborate definitely like today. But definitely basically we need of course all the contact information for these other COPCoVEs and for example, from our project's point of view, I mean, DHub project, we are going to apply new funding and spread the ideas. So you are all welcome to join. We need really active partners and not sleeping ones. We are experienced also in that sense. So my suggestions, recommendations to everybody dealing with entrepreneurship is that be active and collaborate and co-create and be in contact. Sell your ideas. There's somebody else online. Okay, so be active, sell your ideas, and be in touch to us. But maybe Maria Vittoria can share the emails and contact information to us, so it's easy to be in touch with other COPCoVEs around Europe and beyond.
Very good, Eunice. So the message was very clear. You will discuss how you can cooperate with COPCoVEs from this partnership, and all COPCoVEs like Desert and others that are interested to join COPCoVE, please send me an email, and then ETF will channel all the requests, and maybe we can have Uni a separate meeting on that, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, now we move to the next session. And sorry, Eileen, for being late. Eileen McCallum, senior expert in entrepreneurship as a key competence, promotion over several countries, director of Bantani Education. She will present to us EntreComp community. The floor is yours, Eileen, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation. I am delighted to be here and also to see so many people that that we already know. It's really great to be here. Now, I'm here to share with you briefly. Tell me if I go over time, Maria Vittoria, but to share with you briefly, really opportunities for practical engagement. We have work coming up that you can get involved with, that you can take part in, that you can benefit from, perhaps to help you overcome some of the challenges that I can see that people have had and people have mentioned today. Now, we come at this from a very much the same perspective that Zhao mentioned, this broad understanding of entrepreneurial learning. And we're creating resources, activities, working with multiple partners around the world to really try and bring people together, to try and tackle some of the challenges that you face, to try and see the way forward, to innovate practice, to drive forward policy, to overcome those barriers. And today I wanted to share two particular opportunities. I think I'm sharing my screen, is that right? Lovely, great, that has worked well. So first of all, the first opportunity is EntreComp Edu. It is a teacher training course. It is open at the moment for registration. The link is there. And perhaps we can also share that into the chat. It is a teacher training course. It's around about 25 hours study. It's online. It is for everybody. We have primary school, secondary school, and vocational education teachers in there at the moment. Around 700 registered in this phase of training. We've had around about 800 registered in 2020, 2021. It's online, it lasts now, it's open for course access until May the 13th. So the time to register is now. It's free. It will get you accreditation and a certificate and a graduation ceremony in June. And it covers these key areas, which is all about how to deliver entrepreneurial competencies, creativity, initiative, planning, vision, self-efficacy in different contexts of curriculum, different areas of curriculum. So we would welcome you to participate in that. It's facilitated by expert trainers, and there's a weekly cafe that brings people together if you want to discuss specific topics like creative learning, like creating value, like how to create collaboration in your teaching, like reflective learning, like assessment. And you can see the main themes on my screen now that are covered. This is an opportunity. You can click, your teachers can access this. We have hotspots around the world at the moment. We have many, about 13 enrolled from Venezuela. We've got another 20 odd from, about 80 from Turkey. We've got about 15 coming in from Moldova. And I know there's some people in the room who are registered as well. Lots from Tunisia, Iran, Central Asia, Kazakhstan. So many, many countries outside EU and inside EU. And this is open to all. It's being run in English and in Spanish this time. So please share this. We have capacity to take some more. So this was something that we felt would be really appropriate. So this is opportunity number one. Okay, opportunity number two is the EntreComp community. Now this is a space, it's an online space where you can connect, share, learn. That's what it looks like when you get into it. It's very much a sort of a learning management system, an online platform like ones you may have seen before, but this one is all about entrepreneurial learning, all about opening up the opportunity to network, learn, share, and be recognized in different ways. It is something that is just launching now, really. You can register now. If you register, as Junie said, communities of practice, which is what this is all about being active. Bringing something to life. This is something that we're bringing to life at the moment. And if you join, we want you to help us bring it to life, to be an active participant. Creating and connecting in international networks like this is about being part of it, contributing, adding comments, adding ideas, adding your expertise, talking about what you're doing and commenting on what others are doing. But there are lots of opportunities in this community to get involved and when I say we will be activating it, we are working with a number of different partners around mainly Europe, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, EIT KICS are involved, EIT Food, EIT Raw Materials, all digital, partners such as the Junta de Experts, regional governments from different countries, all coming together to try and activate their communities within this space. So it's free to access, it's open to all. There will be monthly challenges and events happening from May. You can apply from June to be an EntreComp champion because it's very much about creating systemic use, promoting awareness of this common language that comes through EntreComp. There will be communities of practice, national communities that are emerging, and thematic communities that will be launched in May. led by ourselves, EIT Food and others, on these themes that you see here. So key themes that we see as absolutely vital for really enabling young people, particularly in vet, to apply their entrepreneurial capacity to different contexts, to support women and girls particularly, to really be able to try things out, to explore what tools and methods and approaches can work and can be used to look at social, creative, food systems, agriculture, and beyond, entrepreneurial mindsets, and also then bringing together those champions that we look at, offering discussions, learning, networks, events. So that's the communities of practice. Alongside that, the platform offers a big digital library of massive resources. We're building this all the time. Happy to take your resources as well if you'd like to share them. Keen to have those in multiple languages. The platform by the end of May will be in Arabic, will be in Ukrainian, it will be in Spanish, Italian, French, and Turkish, with other languages coming online. So it's also got this ability to search by the different themes that are applicable, where you might use entrepreneurial competencies to create business, to create, to be active, to work on being an entrepreneurial citizen, to look at digital inclusion, migration policy. And then we have learning within there as well. So there'll be different learning tools coming online. EntreComp Edu will be in there next year. It's accessible via there now, but also we'll be opening up sort of recognition to earn digital credentials, to earn badges that you can share on LinkedIn, on Twitter. All mapped to the Sustainable Development Goals and supported by so many partners across Europe and the world. So please join us. Opportunity number 2, you can register now. Go in there, have a look around. It'll become a lot more active in about a month. So please, we'd welcome your involvement. And it is a way to increase your international networks and awareness for you and colleagues across your institutions. I have to say thank you to various people here. Thinky particularly, who give us this lovely high quality platform for free. So there we go. That's me. Very swift. Hopefully, I was within time to chat through the EntreComp community, number 1, and EntreComp Edu teacher training course, free to access, number 2.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you were within the time, and you were, I think, very clear in sharing a couple of opportunities for people around the table today and other people that they may want to inform about these opportunities. We have some time now for questions to Eline. If anyone has got a question to her or would like to comment on this richness of things that EntreComp community is offering, there is some time now. I don't know if there are hands raised. Mr. Azizaga, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, all of the participants and all of the speakers. And I'm also thankful to all of you who is the organizer of this event. Actually, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Azizaga Atakshiev, and I am a director of the Joytsar Vocational Education Center. And currently, we are reorganize our work according to contemporary standards in Vocational Education and Training Center. And our center actually will cover 19 regions of Azerbaijan. And we are supporting especially our goal to equip job seekers and unemployment people with skills that labor market needs, and so helps them to find the proper jobs in the market. I also, we are currently implemented 2 projects. One of the agrarian training project. We also benefit some of European experience, especially we are learning ETF activities and experiences, and we are also promote entrepreneurial mindset in our center. And I would like to say that we are partnership with the Minister of Agriculture. Also, they arrange us some free land, and we are there are some experimental activities, and as well as we are planting some seedlings to share some experience, and also we attract some our students for this plan. I actually we are eager to learn some new experience, and all of the speakers their presentation very interesting for me, especially for our center, and we in future we would like to benefit all of these experiences. And it's thanks again for inviting us to this webinar, and I appreciate, and I very very pleased to be a part of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank to you, Mr. Atakishiev. If you would like to share in the chat the link to your vet center so that we can share it with everybody, that would be nice. And for you and for Mr. Talap from Kazakhstan, and for you from Azerbaijan, and also for other participants in this meeting, if you would like to be part of our project, I would like to ask you to stay until the end of this meeting now, where we will share with you which are the next activities. And if you want to become a full member of this project, please stay with us, and with Marinos in a few minutes, we will share with you what's coming up in the project and how you can be part of it, okay? And this is an invitation open to everybody, but especially to centers of vocational excellence that would like to join our partnership and who would like to cooperate more closely with the ETF, with CARDET, and with the COPCoVEs in Morocco, Tunisia, Moldova, and Georgia. Now, we are getting, thank you very much, Eline, for having shared these opportunities. We saw them in the links. We will share them also in the message that will follow this webinar. And they are free of charge opportunities, not only to have more expertise, to get more expertise, but also to network with other countries and communities, which, as we know, is at the basis of being innovative and effective, and also to have more fun, let's say. Thank you, Eline, and thank you to the EntreComp community. Now we are getting to the end of our meeting. I apologize as a chair that we are half an hour late, but it was so rich and it was so interesting, all what we have discussed. As a follow-up to this meeting, you will receive a message with the presentations, with all the links. So nothing will be lost, even if you couldn't follow any moment. And you please feel free to share all these information, opportunities, and recommendations that we discussed about. Our next meeting is on April the 5th for the second webinar of this project on entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence. The topic that we will cover on the 5th of April is to be digital in order to be more entrepreneurial. So we will see on the 5th of April how digitalization can help to become more entrepreneurial as a TVET center. Otherwise, I would close the first part of our meeting here. I repeat it, if there are centers of vocational education that are interested to know what we are doing in our project and who would like to join us in this project, that will last for another year, please remain now in this meeting, and we will share with you what we are going to do in the next few months and how you can benefit from coaching and from other initiatives that we are organizing. For all the others, and especially I would like to thank CARDET for the great support they are giving to ETF, to the 4 COPCoVEs, to all participants, and to my dear colleagues, Jose Manuel and Loretta, for this very good meeting and webinar. Thank you. Have a nice day. And
thank you very much. Have a nice day for you too.
Thank you. I didn't say this in the beginning, but as ETF, we are hoping that the Ukrainian crisis will be solved swiftly. Ukraine is a partner country of the ETF, and we all suffer for what's going on. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And please remain with us if you want to know more
Maybe
about
we
the
turn
project.
on our cameras for a photo.
Ah, yes, good idea, Pambos. Let's switch on the cameras and we take a picture.
I went to the hairdresser today, so I want to make sure it all looks good.
Please, especially ladies, please. Tell us when it's done, Pambos, please.
Ready, smile. Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you very much. Merci. Spasiba. See you soon. See you on the 5th of April.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
And please stay if you want to be part of our project. We remain here for you to explain the project. So please stay if you want to know how to be our partner. Okay, so Marinos, are we ready for the last part of our meeting? Let's see. Okay, we have still 24 participants. Very good. So with the great help of Marinos, we will see now, all of us together, what is this partnership about. Okay, so then you can consider if you want to be an active partner in it. Marinos, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maria Vidoria. I will take the opportunity to thank also all the speakers for their insightful, speeches and comments, and of course, all the participants for their comments. Now back to our project. As you all heard a lot of times in this meeting, the ETF established a new partnership called the Entrepreneurial COPCoVEs. I don't know if you can see the change of the slide.
Not really, Marinos.
Not really. Okay, let me check this.
Maybe Andreas can share the slides and Marinos talks.
Give me a second. I think that I will do that in that way to make sure that we're gonna have a change of slides. So yeah, what is the objective of this project? So the main objective of the project is to support the establishment and facilitation of a partnership in the thematic area of entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence, and B, support entrepreneurship excellence as a key competence from the lifelong learning perspective. Now you can see the, I assume that you can see the presentation. So the project aims to enhance the efforts of the COPCoVEs in order to include more entrepreneurial aspects to their procedures and to their activities. So our overall aim is to become more entrepreneurial COPCoVEs. As the speakers already mentioned, we approach entrepreneurship beyond the conventional understanding of what entrepreneurship is. So in our understanding, entrepreneurship especially in the case of COVEs, has to do, I mean, it has a very holistic approach, a very comprehensive approach. So we include entrepreneurship aspects in all the dimensions of the COVEs, for example, organizational practices, to the teaching and learning processes, to the ecosystem, to the product and services, etc. In terms of the methodology of the project is based on knowledge sharing, to the participation. I don't know. Now I can say again the my presentation. So yes, as I was saying,
Marino, Andreas will share the screen.
Okay, no worries. To the next slide. Yes, here we are. So we have knowledge sharing, participation, and collaboration of all the COVEs. So the participants are called to use peer learning techniques and, of course, peer learning strategies. Peer learning is very important in our case, since it can support the sharing of good practices, experiences, and ideas. So there is a clear reciprocal learning where all the network community members can share and learn. So the trainers and learners can exchange and share their experiences. Some more details now. The project is built on the Tunisian case. So let me thank also our colleagues from Tunisia for their great work. English is the working language for the project. And the project is implemented in collaboration with the research center that I represent, CARTED, an NGO in Cyprus which runs and implements a lot of projects, not only Europeans, but also local and international. And I will really appreciate if some of my colleagues put the link of our institution to the chat. Next slide, please. Who are the protagonists of this consortium beyond the ETF, which is the leading agency here, and of course CARTED as a subcontractor? We have the four protagonists. We have our colleagues from Tunisia, Bizerte. We have ESIF from Morocco. We have the Center of Excellence in Economics and Finance from Moldova, and of course our colleagues from Georgia, level. I would like to mention that we, for now, we had a great collaboration with all of the COVEs. So let me thank you again for this great collaboration. In terms of the phases of the project, we have two main phases with in total 7 concrete tasks. So for now, we completed the task 1 and 2. Very briefly, we developed the conceptual framework of what entrepreneurial COVEs is, and of course, we developed the reflection tool. In the task 2, we attempt to identify the 4 common areas among the COVEs. So the various COVEs completed the reflection tool. We had individual meetings with all the COVEs, and at the end, we had a report with all the 4 common areas. And now basically the current activity that we're doing is basically we run the 4 webinars, which are based, of course, of the 4 common areas that were identified by the needs of the COVEs from the reflection tool and the one-to-one meetings. Now, in terms, what is next now, basically? What are the next activities and the next steps of the project? In the task 4, basically, we're going to have some coaching plans and coaching sessions with each of the COVEs, and of course, with all the COVEs together. In task 5, we're going to share, since, as I mentioned, sharing is very important in this project, we're going to share all of these methods, all of the progress that the COVEs are doing. And last but not least, the task 7, which is the conceptualizing. Basically, at the end of the project, our ambition is to build and provide a framework of what entrepreneurial COVE is. Next slide, please. So yeah, beyond the fact that you're gonna gain a lot of knowledge, I mean, through your participation in this project, beyond the fact that you're gonna share your experiences, which is very important to share your experience. So you're gonna have the chance from the other COVEs, from other institutions, to know the best practices, to know good examples in order, to implement all of these practices in your case. The most beneficial part of the project is the fact that this project works as a platform of networking. So as you can see from this webinar, you can have a lot of networking opportunities. You can find, either the agencies, either organization, either other COVEs for funding opportunities, sponsorship opportunities, collaboration with other COVEs or with other institutions. So if you are interested and if you're ready to work with us, please send an email to our colleagues in the ETF Network for Excellence. They are very responsive and they will guide you immediately of how to join to the partnership and to this particular project. Thank you very much, and Maria Victoria, the floor is back to you.
Thank you very much, Marinos, for this overview about the project goals, what we have done already and what we still need to do. This session of the webinar is particularly dedicated to potential new partners in our project. I'm referring here to new centers of vocational education and training that would like to work with us. There are two possibilities here, and I'm talking, for instance, to Mr. Talap or to Mr. Atakishiev. If you would like to join our partnership as active partner, it means that you have to mobilize a few people to work with us, do the self-assessment exercise, and then with our support and cadet support, we will offer some coaching to your center in order to improve your performance in being more entrepreneurial. This is one possibility, to be active partner. To do that, you can, if you know it already, you can write it in the chat and we will contact you back and we will have an individual meeting with you to see how you can be an active partner now, because the project has already started. So this is a bit the last chance to join as an active partner, okay? So this means that you will have to work with us, produce some reports, analysis, but also you will receive support. Mr. Bozenov. Sorry. Okay, so if you would like to be an active partner in this project, and this is also the case for other participants that I see here around the table, I don't know if you are from centers of vocational excellence and you want to work with us, you can either already write it in the chat and send us your email address. We will organize a bilateral meeting with you and we will see how we can work together in order that you catch up on the train of this project, which started running a few months ago. But there is still time for you to join in now. But please let us know by the end of this week. The second possibility is that you will follow our activities more of a, let's say, observer way or more as a listener. So you will receive the invitations to the next 3 webinars. The first one will be on the 5th of April. And for this one is on, as I said, how to be more digital in order to be more entrepreneurial. There will be on the 20th of April a third webinar that is how to be more ethical, to be more entrepreneurial. And that will be about the sustainable development goals, women entrepreneurship. And the last webinar will be on the 10th of May. You will again receive the invitation. And that will be about how to support business startups as a training center. Now, this is the second way you can be associated to our work. So it's a bit more passive. You don't need to do active work, but that's another possibility. If you don't want to mobilize resources, you cannot mobilize resources in this moment, like for the active partner. That's about it. Then just a couple of words also for COPCoVEs in EU member states, I mean European Union member states. Please, if you want to be associated to our work, let us know. We are very interested in having you on board. I mean, what we heard from Inigo or from Max, from Uni, is very important. It's very important that EU member states Center of Excellence are also part of our partnership for many obvious reasons. And so please let us know if you want to be systematically involved in our activities. We look forward to your participation as well. This is a bit about it. So I can see already in the chat, Loretta, right? We have 2 expressions of interest, right? To join our partnership. So yeah. So we will organize bilateral meetings in the next week to discuss with a center in Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, how you can join our partnership. And thank you very much for expressing your interest. For all the others, as I said, feel free to contact us anytime. Only if you want to be an active member, please contact us by Friday. For all the others who are already on board, thank you very much. To all the participants, thank you so much that you were with us. The fact that you stayed longer than what was foreseen, we take it as an expression of interest in the work we are doing, and more will come. Thank you very much. Stay safe and see you very soon.
Thank you all.
Greetings from Torino.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
See you.